Alright, today is the day. I'm super excited. Today I'm going to be building my first mid-tower rig. So for the case, I chose LianLi Lancool II, which comes with three fans that I'm going to be replacing with this EZDIY RGB fans. Came in a pack of 5, and we're going to be putting for the processor AMD Ryzen 5 3600. For the motherboard, we're going to be building it off of B550 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi, MSI B550 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. Then for storage, we're going to be using XPG Gammix S11 Pro with the read speed of 3.5 gigabytes per second and the write speed of 3 gigabytes per second. For our memory, I'm going to be using G.Skill Trident Z RGB with up to 3200 megahertz, because AMD processor like faster memory speeds. So that's what we're going to be using. For our power supply, we're going to be using Corsair Rm750x, which is a fully modular power supply. And one of the main reasons I chose it is because it tends to be quiet. And then, of course, for our graphics card, we're going to be using Geforce RTX 3060 Ti. So, really excited, and my wife is going to be helping me out with the build. So, let's see how it goes. Alright, so first things first. First, we're going to take the motherboard and we're going to install all the components that we can install, like CPU, fan cooler. Then we're going to install our storage, we're going to install the memory, and only after that we're going to place this motherboard inside the case. So let's go ahead. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to install the processor. So in order to do this, this is a typical AM4 AMD socket. So we're going to pull this lever, see it shifted, and when we pull that lever, what you're going to do, you're going to take your processor and you're going to check for this little corner, and this little corner should go to this little mark right here. So you don't install it facing up, you basically install it sideways. This is how AMD does it. So you're just gonna drop it nice and gently until you don't put pressure too hard, otherwise you might damage it. So just gonna put it nice and gently right here, and then you're gonna be pressing the lever down, and that's it. Alright, now we're gonna be installing our storage. So for the storage, we got 1 terabyte XPG Gammix S11 Pro with as I've already mentioned, with the performance of up to 3500 megabit per second read speed and 3000 megabit per second write speed, and we're going to be putting it under our Frozer shield for extra cooling. So we took out the shield and we're about to install our SSD NVMe. We're going to be using one of the M.2 screws that come with the motherboard to keep it in place. Now that we secured our M.2 in place, we're going to flip this Frozer shield, and I'm going to remove this plastic cover. And now I'm going to be securing the shield in place. Don't make it too tight, just a little bit for it to hold. And just like that. Okay, for memory sticks, I chose two 16 gigabit each G.Skill Trident Z RGB with the speed up to 3200 megahertz. So it provides enough speed for our AMD processor. So the way this motherboard works is that since we have only 2 sticks, we're going to install one in the second slot and the other one in the fourth slot. Please make sure to check your motherboard manual. It's going to tell you which slots to use first if you have 1 stick or 2 sticks. If you have all four, there is no problem there. You just install all four. But if you have only two or one, please make sure to read which one should go first. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull this lever, as I already did, and then you're gonna make sure that this notch over here corresponds to the notch on the slot. What you're gonna do, you're gonna slide it, align this thing, and you're gonna press firmly down. It's a little bit hard, so please make sure to press it firmly in place until you hear this satisfying click, and that's it. Should see it back in place and the lever goes back up. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna install our CPU fan. So this already comes with the pre-applied thermal paste, so we don't need any extra thermal paste. So what we're gonna do first thing is we're gonna remove this mounting brackets on the motherboard around the CPU. So we're gonna unscrew this 4 screws, and we're gonna place that CPU fan, align the CPU fan, and we're gonna set it in. Alright, so I think I'm gonna place it like this, just so this cable right here is too long, and if I place it like this, it's gonna be hanging around like that. So I don't want it to hang around. I want it to kind of go and curve around the fan, and see if I can tuck it in so you see the least of it as you can. I'm gonna make sure it's nice and aligned. I'm gonna grab, where's my other screwdriver? My other screwdriver. And I'm gonna be tightening it up. So we put that in, and it's sitting nice and snug. Now I'm just gonna try to make to hide this cable so it doesn't show up. So I'm just gonna go and trying to put it something like that. And we're gonna plug this into the CPU fan connector, which is located right here. It's kind of hard to bend right here, but let's see how it does. All right, and our fan is all set. So next we're gonna bring the case, and we're gonna put the motherboard in the case. All right, so now let's prepare the case. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take out the box with the screws that come with the case, and I'm gonna put this back in. Then I'm gonna take this side. I'm gonna take this glass off, so it will be easy for us to install. Let's see what comes here. Some zip ties and screws. So first things first, let me take off these fans, because I'm not going to be using them anyway, to make extra room, and we'll get back to it. What we're going to do, we're going to secure the motherboard with 9 screws, which are located right over here, and we're going to align the cutouts with the position of the screws, and we're going to make sure that our I/O shield is also aligned. The best thing you can do is go for the middle one, because it has a little bit higher edge, so that one will help you put this in place perfectly. That way it doesn't move, and then you can secure it with the screws. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So we secured the motherboard in the case, and the next thing we're gonna do is I'm probably gonna install the power supply unit, and we're gonna go from there. I don't think this will fit through here. Yep. Didn't fit. Okay. So what we're gonna do, on this side, I'm gonna plug it through this side. But before we do that, let's connect some cables, because then it's gonna be pain in the booty. So now we're gonna install the power supply. So we're gonna go ahead on this side. And we're gonna secure it in place with these 4 screws. Here, 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 and here. Alright, so we secured the power unit. We might need a couple more cables, maybe a SATA cable for power supply for the RGB fans, but I'm not sure if that comes already with the RGB fans, or I'm gonna have to use one of these that come with a power supply unit, so I haven't connected it yet. For now, let's see what's going on here behind this covers. So I'm gonna take off this glass as well, so it's easier for us to work. And we're sitting nice and snug, so it's coming off really difficult. Let me go ahead and take off these covers. Oh, accidents. Alright, so as you can see, we have another mount here. This is where I'm going to probably use a sticky tape to put the RGB hub for RGB fans, because they're going to have a proprietary hub, proprietary connections. So I'm probably going to stick it here, and it's going to go behind the cover, so you wouldn't see that. And now let's see what we have here. Alright, so this is the cable that goes to the, I assume, to the button controls for the RGB for the front of the panel, and we're gonna try to see. Okay. Alright. Oh, a lot of cables. So this is the 3-pin connector. These are the connectors for our power button, reset button, power LEDs. I'm not sure what this one does. Let's try to figure it out. Looks like this is the power for all of the power for LED lights. Audio. This is going to go to the bottom left of the case where we have the connector. This is the one connector for the audio. And let me double check with this one. Maybe it's, oh, this is USB 2.0. Looks like, oh yeah, two connectors. I'm sorry, USB 3.0 that we have on top. That's gonna go at the bottom, somewhere around the middle. So yeah, these are all the wires that we have here. And then we have this little, I think, yep, 3-pin connector. So I can use an extension cable to connect it to the addressable RGB connector on the motherboard, and so I can sync up all my RGBs. Alright, so the first thing we did, we connected this 24-pin motherboard power supply, and it's going over here, so make it look nice and snug. And the second thing we did, we connected the 8-pin CPU power connector right here. Alright, so these are the two connectors that are done so far. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna try to figure out how to deal with this hot mess over here. This is a lot of wires, so the first thing I'm probably going to do is connect the furthest, which is this audio connector. So, and I'm going to go at the bottom, and since there are cutouts here, I'm just going to connect it right here, so it will be going kind of in the shroud, and then hiding behind the covers. So let me just double check. Okay. Gonna turn it just like that, and this will secure our audio for our headphones and for our microphone. Tucked in, nice and snug. The next thing I'm gonna grab, let's see, the next thing I'm gonna grab is our USB 3.0, 2 ports are going with this one. So I'm gonna kind of pass it through here, and it's gonna sit right here. I'm gonna try to bend it. Let's see how that goes. A little tough, but I think once you sit it, it's gonna be just fine. For now, just a little tough. Let's see. Yeah, it's not really confined as I wish it to be, but it's a little long. This part is a little long, that's why it's not letting me to kind of tuck in the wire below. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to leave it like that, or I can pass it through this space, but yeah, I think for now I'm gonna leave it like that. The next thing I'm gonna do is connect the power LED, power supply button, and power button and reset button. So what I'm gonna do I'm gonna grab this 3. It really depends on the motherboard, but you better check it out how it goes for your motherboard. But with this one, the first 2 pins are going to be power LED, then the next 2 pins on the top are going to be power button. I don't have any HDD light or anything like that, so these 2 pins I'm going to skip, and these 2 pins at the bottom, they're going to go for the reset button. So let's see. And with the power LEDs, if I remember correctly, first goes plus then minus, but let me double check with the manual just to be sure. Alright, so first I'm going to connect the power LED plus on the very left, top left, just like that. And then I'm going to connect the power LED minus. Alright, so we connected plus and minus, plus on the left, minus on the right of the top pins. And now we're going to connect the reset button, which goes at the bottom, not the very last pin. This is extra pin, and I'm honestly not sure what you would use it for, but the next 2 pins to the left side of it is going to be the reset power button, and then the other 2 pins on top above it is going to be for your power button on the front of the case. And we'll tuck it in nice and snug, and that's it. Record. Alright, so there's 2 connections left, and I believe this 3-pin connector is the one that's gonna let me control the addressable RGB on the front panel to connect it to motherboard, but I'm gonna check it out because there's one more connection. It's either that one or this one, so I'm gonna figure it out a little later. And for now, I'm just gonna connect the SATA. So I'm gonna have to grab one more wire for SATA power, and I'm gonna plug it into the power supply unit, and I'm gonna connect it right here as well. Alright, so let me go ahead and connect this SATA to give I assume the power supply for the RGBs. Yep. And just like that. Alright, I'm gonna leave this cable for now. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to install the fans. So we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to install a couple of these on the front. Then I'm going to install 2 of these on the top and 1 of this on the back. These are, by the way, 120 millimeter fans, and yeah, as I said earlier, I bought them in a pack of 5. So these are RGB fans, and I know that you might say that this case comes with the RGB LED strip in the front of the front panel, but kind of the way I'm going to install it is going to go like this. So if you look on the side, you're going to see more RGB, and it would kind of look weird if the top and the back is going to have RGB, but this one won't. But you will see that light coming from the side if you're looking at it from the side. So that's why I decided to go for the 5 of these fans. So I'm going to install 2 on the front, 2 at the top, and 1 on the back. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so we installed 2 fans up front, 2 fans on top, and 1 fan in the back. So a total of 5 fans for this case, for this setup I should say. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna install the hub for these fans. And we're gonna connect this to SATA for power and the addressable RGB pin to control our RGB. So the nice thing about it is that it comes with the sticky tape pre-applied for the hub. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on this mount, and then I'm going to connect our RGB fans with proprietary cable connectors over here. So with this hub you can connect up to 10 fans and 2 RGB strips. Right now I'm only going to have 5 fans, and maybe in the future I'll add up more, or I'll add some LED strips. But just to let you know that this hub can handle up to 10 fans and 2 LED strips. Just note one thing, that if this hub goes out of order, then all your fans go out of order as well, because this has proprietary connectors and there is no way that you can plug this in directly into the motherboard for these fans to work. So I'm going to keep my case fans just as a backup in case anything goes wrong with this hub. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this on. Just like that. So to power this, I'm going to have to plug in, I'm going to get one more SATA cable. Plug it into the power supply unit. Just like that. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, okay, it's right here. That's a lot of cables, okay? Alright, and I'm gonna plug it in here. And that's it, that's all set. And this one is gonna go to the addressable RGB port. And another one, where is it? The one that comes from the case front. No, not this one. Where is it? This one. This one is going to another addressable RGB port. So 2 addressable RGB ports are going to be occupied, and I can sync my fans with the LED RGB lights on the front, as well as with the LEDs on the motherboard. So let's see how this is going to work out. So for now I'm just going to connect this, and then we're going to tie this up a little bit to make it nice and tidy, and we're going to plug it in and we'll see how it does. Alright, so I'm connecting the addressable RGB into the addressable RGB port on the motherboard, and this is gonna control the LED strips on the front panel. I think it went in. They're a little flimsy, but if you got it right, it actually is put nice and snug into place. and the other one is gonna go up there into this little connector. So we tried to do some cable management. Even though we got the covers, we tried to make it nice and a little bit more organized. So we tied up all the extra RGB fan cables. So we connected them to the hub, five RGB fans, and then we connected the power to the SATA, and this one is the addressable RGB cable that goes into the addressable RGB port on the motherboard. And now I'm just gonna try to cover all these wires with the covers and see how well it looks. So let's see. That looks pretty nice actually. There is an opening here, so that lets it go, and I put this wire that goes into the power supply through here so you don't see it sticking out. I'm not sure about this wire that goes to CPU. Maybe I'm gonna have to redo it, but I'm gonna look at it when I'm gonna put the cover over here. So for now, I'm just gonna secure this cover. Yeah, so it looks just like that. Alright, so we have one wire left. There's a hot mess over here, but that's inevitable. One wire left here for our graphics card, and we're pretty much done. So let me just try putting on the cover on the top and see how it looks. Alright, so if I'm gonna, let's pretend I'm gonna cover this one. You barely see this cable over here, but yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. No big deal. I think this cable is a little bit short. If I were to put it this way, might try. Let me just try, but I don't think this is gonna work out. Do it real quick. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna be enough unless it's gonna be really tight. Like that. Let me try disconnecting and adjusting it a little bit. Oh, now it's really hard to reach to disconnect. No, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. I think I'm gonna leave it the way it was. At least it's not too tense on the connection. And maybe not even use this strip. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's sitting nice like that. You can barely see it. So let me just put this cover. Alright. And it's sitting nice and snug. If I had 2.5-inch SSDs, I would put them here probably. But I'm only using one M.2 NVMe, 1 terabyte for now, and so nothing goes here. But the covers kind of make it look nice and neat. I mean, you might call it a cheat code, but you know, if it makes it look nice, I'm not gonna mind. And I think that's it. Let me just put the glass panel back on. this is what it's gonna look like, nice and clean. And the build is pretty much done. Let me put on back the the front panel back on. All right, front panel's back on. Now what is left is we're gonna connect the graphics card. So let me go ahead. Ain't that gorgeous? Okay, approximately it's going here. All right, so I'm gonna need to take out, I believe, this two. Yep, this two. All right, let me grab the screwdriver. I'm gonna take off, which one did I say? This two or this two? Let me double check just in case. Rather be safe than sorry. Okay, this two. I'm gonna take off this two, and then we'll come back to install the graphics card. Put a screw over here. That holds the card. I'm gonna put this on here as well so I don't lose it. All right, and the graphics card is in place. Now I have to connect I'm gonna use the adapter here, I believe. Yeah, let me check. Yep. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab the wire and push it through that. Push it through this space. Got that. Yep. Got that. And now, well, actually, I should twist it like that. And now our graphics card is connected. And that is it. So yeah, I'm just gonna close the side panels. It's pretty much done. Now we're just gonna have to power it up and see if it works. But before we do that, actually, we'll do it later. Let's power it up first. And later on, I'm gonna put the rest of the side glass back on and we'll go from there. All right, guys, the moment of truth. Let's see if this thing works. Whoa, it powered up. So I guess we did something right here. Alright, so it looks like we got it working, and the remote for the RGBs works as well. You can see I can change the lights to auto mode and adjust the brightness. It looks like the LED is not lit up, either that or let me turn off the, yeah, looks like LED is not working. I'm not sure, maybe I need to set it up first, but we'll definitely check that out. Or actually, let me press the mode. No. Yeah, we'll check that out. Maybe we'll need to set this up. And yeah, now I'm just gonna download the Windows installation kit, and after that, I'm gonna continue with the setting up the system, and yeah, but it looks like it's working, and it's actually offering me to run a setup or load default values, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, now to the most satisfying part, peeling off this plastic. Doesn't that feel nice?